This is Just Amazon on February 26th, Tuesday, February 26th, 2019. And we start out pre-market today, selling off where we were yesterday. We had this kind of a oops, don't do that. This kind of a consolidation coming out of Friday. That broke out, came back and retested. I keep doing that. Came back and retested right into this apex here. Bounced a little bit here. Started to do a little bit of a bounce right at the close, and then just rolled over. And so now we're below this triangle, and it's looking like the price that I was anticipating, right around the 21 on the daily is pretty close to right around here, 1625 area. So we're not quite below it, which is what I was looking for, but we're interacting with the 21, which is close enough. So as we start the day, we've got a little bit, and I'd say very little bit, of like a double bottom in here. And the opening candle is going to tell us a lot about what that's going to do. And it completely takes out the low from pre-market. And what's interesting is we're almost back at the 1617.54 price. And the very next candle starts to actually bounce off of that, which is also a really cool thing to see this sell-off so strong, lower volume than we had yesterday. But then the very next candle, you got this slight gap down, sell down, and then gets bought back up. This is really strong signal because any of the bears who were selling all this, the last few of them were getting in bearish down here, and then this price is where the bulls were coming in. And so a lot of them are losing on the trade already. Any of them who were selling below this price, the closing price of this candle, anybody who sold, all through, let's see, is it going to highlight down? I think it will. No, everyone who bought or who sold through here is losing or right at break even. And then we get an indecision candle, another indecision candle, nice consolidation here, starts to flag a little bit, but still, 15 minutes of just some indecision. Another small candle. This is a little bit more of what people would probably think of as a rollover, but it's holding the low from this opening candle. And so still, anybody who had sold down here is still trapped. They're right now hoping that it's going to roll over, that the rest of the bears who are shorting from up here are still shorting here. But again, this is where the bulls are coming in. And if the bulls can hold this price, it's going to be really strong for this this pattern to turn into a double bottom and hold the low where we've got the line. And that's what starts to happen. The very next candle not only breaks out of this indecision candle, it takes out the highs of these 4 candles and takes out the high from the opening 5-minute. And so if you squish all this together, you can see that from, let's see, we'll highlight. Yeah, all of this is engulfing the opening 5-minute candle. It's similar to what we did yesterday in the first 10 minutes. When we opened here, sold down and got bought up, it was engulfing everything here. It just didn't work. It rolled back down. I mean, we stayed inside of that range for a little bit until we consolidated and broke down again. But this right here, we're engulfing it. So this is turning into a double bottom. Down here is the right place to get in. Up here is not. It's right at some pre-market resistance or support that became resistance. We're below or right at the low from this triangle over here from Friday. This is not the place to be buying unless you're just looking to scalp it to move higher. The next target would be this line, and let me see if I can color this today. Hey, there we go. No, I used purple on the other one. Oh, let's use let's use that color, whatever that is. Okay, there we go. So that's kind of a purple. But anyway, this is the resistance that I drew in yesterday. The downtrend resistance, kind of triangle sort of shape. Actually, I wonder if I could do this today. I don't know if it's going to do it in here. Can I duplicate? Yep. Can I switch these today? No, that's not going to work. Okay. I guess we will try that another time. So from right here, it'd be nice to see this consolidate a little bit, like a couple of these candles, and then continue to break out. And it doesn't. It just starts to move up. There you go. There's a couple smaller candles consolidating a little bit. We're coming right into yesterday's low and the apex of this triangle. And so this would be a really good place for tightening up your stop, exiting some because you're at a previous support that's now going to be retesting as a resistance. We did have a squeeze that formed and fired, and we'll see. Yep, we're just consolidating here. This is an inverted hammer. It's a pretty strong hammer, and it really looks opposite of this candle and very much opposite of this candle, which were some of the buying signals down in here yesterday. This is probably a really good sell signal right here. So if you don't have your stop moved up, you could tighten it up to below this lower bearish candle or below the bullish candle, especially if you're in down here. Just lock in something if it pulls back that far, but giving it a little bit of room. Or if you're playing this more aggressively, probably get your stop below the 5 or right below this candle or probably, yeah, right in here, 1627, 1628, because if it does pull back, I mean, it should come back into the 5, maybe the 21, retesting down here. Or obviously you can just get out right now. You're also at probably this sort of high right here. So all of that is, yeah, it's all kind of some of the values we're playing around with in here from Friday, where we didn't really do too much. So let's move another candle forward, and there you go. Start to pull back. We get a slight gap down. I'm going to have a hard time seeing all those candles. There we go. It's a little better. So we get a little bit of pullback. There's a much smaller hammer here. We've broken down from this 20 minutes of stair steps in here. Not really breaking down totally, but I mean we're starting to take out some lows on the bearish candles, which means more bears are coming in than previously. And we get now inside candle. I love seeing these really small candles. This could go either direction if this does turn out to be a strong bearish hammer and it plays out. It should pull back some more, possibly into like 16, 22, 23, where this could be like a neckline of a double bottom. And so if we come down in here, that'd be a really good place. Let me draw that in. That'd be a good place to look for a bounce. So I'm just going to draw that, and we'll kind of move it. Actually, let's do that right now. I drew it like that. Let's see if we come in here and touch this price. So there's our double bottom right there. So if we can retest down here, I mean, it's probably a 1-to-1 if you're going bearish right here, from right here or on this candle. So there may have been some people making money going bearish or setting that up to go bearish and getting out here, or some people looking for it to completely roll over like it kept doing yesterday, where it would retest like this. It retested this low. This one retested. Well, I guess it kind of retested the same level in here. So back in here today, move another candle forward and get another hammer, inverted hammer. This one is a little less bearish. This one being more bearish because it's a bearish candle. This one's a positive candle, bullish candle. Closed. The close is higher than the open. This one's closes below the open, so this one's more bearish. That's all. So this was a great place to get in bearish on a retest of this candle, especially with that slight gap down here. Looks like there's a gap there. So another hammer, inverted hammer that you could be getting in below here, and then it's definitely a one-to-one down to that line. Starting to lose a little bit of bearish momentum. And all right, starting to lose a little bullish momentum, excuse me. Taking out the low here. Starting to break down the 21. Okay, there we go. We are coming in and touching that. 1622.95 is the low. I drew this. 1622.94 was the end point. That's funny. Okay, so there's your neckline. Indecision candle. You could be buying right here with the stop, a few dollars away, maybe 1620. If you're playing it really not aggressively, what's the word? If you're playing this really conservatively, your stop's going to be down probably below 1754, maybe below the low here. Definitely below this low. The much more aggressive trade would be either to buy right here or to get in bullish when it breaks above this candle and a stop below it. So let's see how this plays out. There we go. Start to bounce. There's a Morningstar reversal right here. Some people are in going bullish right here and probably a stop at 1622 even, right below this candle. And we'll see if that starts to work. Yep, that totally worked. It moves back up. Probably already up at 1R up here, coming right back into these selling candles. So this is kind of like a first retest of these lows, second retest. This is a third retest already. So it makes sense to consolidate here. Indecision candle, small bearish candle here. This is a little bit of a lopsided Morningstar reversal. It could pull back some more. It could totally retest in here. We could consolidate, making a bit of a triangle with some higher lows and lower highs today, or relative highs, and continue on up. Looks like we're pulling back some. A little bit of a double top in here, really small. You got to look at these in like a 3-minute or 1 minute even to see some of these patterns. But just the way the candles are moving, it's looking like it's starting to pull back a little bit more. We could come back down here and retest this level again, or break down below it and trap some people who bought here and didn't get out of here. And yeah, it looks like that's what we're doing. Okay, we came back down here. Anybody who didn't get in, anybody who did get in here and just held through this, now you're basically at break even. You're starting to wonder, should I have just gotten out? Is this going to recover? If your stop is below here and you never moved it, you may be getting nervous that you're going to get stopped out. But you only risked an R, so you shouldn't be so nervous because that's what happens. We got a squeeze that's fired bearish. That's not helping the bullish perspective on this. I really want to see an indecision candle like this with a bullish close above it or above the previous candle right around the 21 and then continue on up. If you're not in yet, which there's some bulls buying right here, but if you're not in yet, this is a good place to set up a trade, just like this one, getting in above this candle, getting in above a bullish candle here would be good, 1626 or so. And a stop down here at like 1622. So it's a $4 risk. And we can figure out what that would be on the options. Inside candle, another indecision. Okay. We didn't get above the bullish candle, so you shouldn't be in bullish yet. Now we've got a candle that's touching this line again. So this is a first retest, second retest, third retest, just like we had up here. This is technically, I think it's a lower low. 1622.79, 1622.95. Yeah, slightly lower low here than this one and here to this one. Still relative low. We kind of relative high, relative low. So maybe we could channel and do something. Do something where we just bounce around in between there for a little bit. That's possible too. But we got some bearish momentum with the squeeze. So it would make sense if we pull back a little bit more. Not sure how that happened. I must have scrolled. Sorry. But here's the next couple of candles. We did end up breaking down. We came back down to the indecision candle here, and it looks like we're starting to buy back up. or at least retest to this line, and from here potentially roll over. So this candle, the high and the close are 6 cents apart. I'd like to see more volume, more bullish volume come in to move this on up. If it's going to actually go higher, but this is looking like kind of a lopsided double top now, and it's retesting that neckline. So it's got a little bit more of a bearishness to it, but we still held these lows and we're not back down to our 16, 17, 54. So I'd still be bullish on this, that it's going to, let's see, would I still be bullish on this? I would be conservatively bullish. I would want to get a move up here above these bearish candles, and then look for a retest again. Look for it to pull back a little bit. Any sort of bearishness, get in on that candle, and a stop down here. Potentially a stop below this low or below the 16, 17, 54. So I would play that more conservatively, which widens my risk, which means I'm probably going to be looking at puts like the 1600, or I'm looking at the calls like the 1650 calls. If I was bearish on this, I would be looking for this to roll over immediately and get in below this candle if it does pull back, and a stop probably above this indecision candle here, and get into the 1600 puts. The 1625s, you're right at the money, and so they're going to be more expensive. They're going to move better, but with a wider risk, I'm not going to get that $100 risk that I want to see. So we start to have, look at that, you start to have a bearish candle, but doesn't close bearish and gets bought back up. This is now a bullish hammer, and the high and the close are the same, 1623. So it's a shaved top, right in the same range that we're looking to continue on up. Let's see, it's technically a bullish engulfing and a hammer and a shaved top. So that shows there's more bullishness in store right here. And so we should see it continue higher. Wow, really small candle. I can't even see that. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. No, I don't want to get rid of that yet. Look at that. I moved from where I moved that over. We're right at the end point of that right there. Indecision candles, really, really small candles. What time is it? It's almost noon. So noon central. So there's some people probably either come back from lunch East Coast time or about to go on lunch, and just not as much interest to move anything here. So again, this is just some more consolidation. I'd like to see that squeeze get a little tighter, but what do we have here? We have a nice gap up. It's incredible actually have a gap like that on an intraday. So we closed the 5-minute candle here at 1622.53, and then we actually opened the very next candle 1623.49, which I guess isn't that far away, right? 23. I guess it's almost $1. We gapped up almost $1. And the open and the low are the same. So that's a shaved bottom. So we had a shaved top candle here, a shaved bottom candle here. It's an inverted hammer, but it's technically a bullish gap and go on the intraday. And this would be, this just looks really, really bullish. I'd like to see it get above the 21. And I might be getting in. I'd probably be getting in on the next bullish candle, getting above this indecision one. I think that's what I said before. But my stop is actually going to be up here like 1622, because a gap like that, I can play this more aggressively. So I'm probably getting in 1626 by 1622, which I think is what I was saying if it bounced here, right? So I'm getting a better, a more confident entry here than I was getting over here. And let's see what happens. Inside, back, look at that. Just building some more consolidation here. There we go, starts to break out. Now what's nice about this is it broke out and then came right back down almost to 1626. And so I probably would have been filled, even if I was setting up the trade during this candle as it's breaking out, and a stop down here. And already, maybe you could be moving your stop up here because this is a really nice gap that held. So, I mean, we didn't come back down to the closing price of this candle. So we've held that gap, and now we're starting to break out. So this is a really nice small stair step, and now a breakout. This is just looking much more bullish. We've obviously trapped any of the bears who were getting who are selling down in here. We've trapped them now. They should be stopped out up here. This is kind of a last-ditch effort for some of them to be selling right here. But there's nothing going on with prices right in here other than this candle. Let's see, the high and the open are close. No, they're the same. Okay, so that was a shaved top candle here. So that's our only real resistance coming up. We're just below that. So that's possible. But I didn't think that was a super strong candle. Yes, that was the breakdown candle. It was a little stronger. Okay. Inside candle, another inside candle. Look at that. Just like this consolidated, this is a really nice consolidation. This is just waiting for something to happen. I'm going to get rid of this now. This is just moving up so slow. It's just a grind higher. You pulled back almost to 21. Some really small candles. Just got to be patient with this one. You could move your stop to follow some of the lower wicks, like this candle, then this, and then I would wait for it to make a new high before moving my stop right here. Just giving it some room. There we go. On this candle, you can move your stop up here, and now you're, if it pulled back, down here, you're probably at maybe half an R. You lose by half an R, which, I mean, you've already reduced your risk. You want to just really see this thing run, but it's just grinding higher. So, okay, we broke above this shaved top candle, all that bearishness, and here's the bears coming in after that. We try to see, do we have like a down angle or something we're getting into? This is lower highs right here and kind of higher lows, but I mean, we already said this was broken. This one is still relevant, higher lows here. So you get this gentle downward slope of lower highs. Let me draw this one in, what I'm seeing potentially. If I just connect these, like that, and then I'm going to extend that. I'm just kind of seeing those. That's the area that we're at right now. Yeah. So, yeah, my eyes kind of were drawing that line mentally. Like, yeah, we're right into the, if anybody's selling off of a line like that, which I don't know if algorithms are or if anybody else drew something like this, connecting the dots. So the next thing to do is break above that. We've got to stop right here below the 21. I wouldn't move it up yet, just because we're only up about half an hour. So you could take some profits here, if you're nervous or if it's in your plan, just to lock something in and you get to resistance like that. This one I just feel like we're just continuing up, just much slower, and it's just going to take some time. It could totally roll over. I could be totally wrong. It rolls over, and I'm stopped out down here, and I wish I was getting out for half an hour gain. This is just one of those that it just seems like there's too much going on here bullish, that it's kind of like, yeah, it's ebbing and flowing, and it's not doing anything like a sharp pullback. So let's see if we can get above these candles. Yeah, let's see where we go. Swing decision. There we go. Nice lower wick there. That's a retest of these candles. You're still only up a little bit. That's what's crazy. And then there you go. Okay. It only took another 20 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever, to start to break out from that candle. So this is your breakout. You made a higher high going up, but not yet over here. So, but you've broken this downtrend line that was in here. Getting some bullishness back in. There you go. Now it's going up a little bit stronger. Okay. If you're in on the stock, I mean, you're only up an R up here, right? No, an R and a half. Okay. It was 1626 by 1622. So you're up an R and a half. 1632. That's good. We get rid of this because now we actually have made a new high in the day. We're up here now. So it makes sense. There's some selling that's going to come in, a little bit of pullback. My stop, it's definitely here, which gives me break even, maybe a little tighter. So I don't, so I gain, more than just break even. I want a little bit more than that. So probably up here, then I'd be gaining half an hour. And then if we can get another bearish candle and then get above both of them, I'd move my stop right underneath here and lock in that 1R, or not lock it in, but make sure I don't lose less than that. Oh, we'll just go up again. Okay, so now my stop's right here, 1630 or so. And we just keep on going up. Look at that. But, okay, so this was just a grind. Looks like it's going to start to roll over. It doesn't and shoots up. It just goes parabolic here. There's a lot of buying coming here. And look where we run up to and start to sell off from. This line that I just drew yesterday, that's really cool. Okay, we're contending with yesterday's prices in here. Now, we were higher yesterday, so we're not contending with our highs. But this was a bearish retest gap. We've totally retested that now. I mean, we did that here, and then we're essentially fading. I mean, this was a fade back up, I guess. So, all right. You could be taking profits, definitely. You could tighten your stop up, tighten your stop up below some of these bearish candles. I mean, you're up a few R, 1626, that's 1R, 2R. You're up at 3R up here. And just so you know, I didn't do this today. This is really cool to see all this playing out. I wish I would have played this bullish down here. That would have been phenomenal. What time is it? Okay, it's 2 o'clock. So we got another hour in the day. Probably a good place to take some profits. That's a really good grinding move. Asking this to continue on up to this line is going to be tough because, I mean, this line has been holding. We've had some wicks up above it. I'll give you that. But this is a good place to take some profits. At least take half off probably here. So if you take half off, then you can move your stop up here. And so you'd still end up with more than an R, even if you hold back there, I think. My mental math is not on point right now. There you go. Okay, so now we're just consolidating right on that line. Start to pull back. Let's come back to the 21. Oh, don't even get back to the 21. That's the end of the day. Look at that. That's so cool. Okay. That was a good line from yesterday. That was our target today. All right. So what I said about yesterday, the last few times we were above the 21 with a bearish candle, we gapped back down below the 21. Gap back down below the 21. Gap back down below the 21. So we've done that. Let's see. I guess we didn't do it here, which I overlooked that one. That wasn't the gap up. Okay. It was a gap up that traded down, that gapped below. So like these three candles traded up, gap up, trade down, gap below. Trade up, gap up, trade down, gap below. It still worked. We just went the other direction. We just went bullish today. So this has me, I mean, it's still so sideways, right? It's just sideways. It's just a really good consolidation. Look how long the squeeze is going on. So what I really want to see is have this give us a really strong candle. I mean, we can end the month down here. We can totally do that. And then next month, totally break out. It'll give it that much more momentum on a monthly to have a small candle like we've got through here. Let's see, where's the month? A short month. Okay. This will be the month of February. That's how little we're talking about. So I think, what was the 15th, the holiday or something? So that's why it's even shorter than, well, that's, I guess, a normal holiday for February. Anyway, that's February. It's really small. If we can stay within this range, if we can stay within this range and even make a bearish candle, where was the open of the month? Okay, so the open's here. So it looks like the open 1638.88. We closed today at 1636.40. Okay, so we still have a bearish monthly candle. That would help if we can close the month below this line and then gap up above it, even Friday. I mean, that would mean a bullish gap and go on a monthly. I don't even know what the weekly is looking like. Let's look at the weekly. Okay, this is looking like an S curve right here. Look at that. You got this bounce and rallies. It pulls back, a bunch of touches to the uptrend, the downtrend, the upper downtrend line, and then just goes sideways. And this looks to me like it's going to continue to move up. If this is bearish, if this closes bearish this week, or like I said, if this can go bullish on the monthly, I think we're in for some bigger move up. Not bigger, I just mean we're going to get going up again soon, like next month. We could be back in the my cursor jumped up to 1900s. I don't want to promise that for March. I don't want to promise it for anything, but I mean, if we can have a small candle like this on a monthly, and then gap up, even Friday gap up, and start to run. I mean, we could easily be above these highs in March. Maybe April. I don't want to say too much for when I'm thinking this could be bullish. On the other side, it could totally just pull back again or go sideways some more and make us wait longer. But with a really small doji candle like this, I mean, I want to see something move, even if it's breaking down. I'd really like to see it rally. I mean, that's best case scenario to continue moving on. I mean, but look at the move we've had. You know, we're below the 21 on the weekly. If we can close on the weekly bearish, and then after that gap up, I mean, that's going to show some more strength. What does this look like? This kind of looks like really weird, I want to say a zigzag or inverted head and shoulders that it doesn't have a very clean neckline. I guess maybe this is our neckline. Something like that is our neckline. Oops. I don't know. I think we're just going to have to wait and see how this starts to move. Yeah, we're right at the 21 on the weekly. All right, back to the daily. There we go. Here's where we're at. Back to the 5 minute. That's what we did today. Let's go look at the calls in here, like 1626, getting in on that candle. Let's say we got in at 12:15 and our stop was below the 11:55 candle on the calls. 12:15, 11:55. 12:15 here and 11:55. So the close here, 14.95. 11:55. The low is 13.75. So 14.95 by 13.75. That's almost $1. I mean, okay, this candle would have done it. You could have done 14.75 or 14.50 even by 13.50. That would have done it. So that bearish candle. So maybe you're not getting in on that candle because your risk reward is a little bit too wide. You're in on this one at 14.50. Let's say 14.75, and then that just rallies. So maybe you took some profit at this high around 19, or you waited till it got up into that line. So let's say you bought 14.75 and held all the way up through 21.75. That's 7R. That's a good day. That's a great day. Totally doable because that's where we got. This is where we got into this line. Totally doable. That was your target. Let's see. if you were buying down here, let's say you bought off of this line, what happened at the open? You're buying around 12.50, 13. As it pulled back, you're getting an order ready for 13 by 12. It holds that low, bounces. You're getting in 12 by 13, or sorry, 13 by 12. You're getting a little nervous as it pulls right back here, and then it rallies. You're probably getting out at 17, this open high, maybe 18. So that's 13 up to 18. That's 5R, and then you could have done it again here, 13 by 12, if you were looking at the options. If you're looking at the options when this happened, now again, we had a neckline drawn in here where the cursor's sitting. It took out this low. I'm not sure you would have been getting in bullish right here at the same price you got in here. You probably would have wanted to stop a little bit wider in case it did pull back some more. Or you would have waited for like this kind of breakout here. And that was right at 12. At 12 was, yeah, you're already back up at 14, over 14. So that's not getting in at 13 anymore. Maybe 14 by 13. Could have done that. That would have filled here and a stop. That would have worked. Because then you're showing you're moving up. You didn't get as good of a price as had you bought here and held. I mean, that's the other thing. If you had bought at 13 and held all day, you did a little bit better than if you bought here. But, I mean, to hold through all that, that would have either been nerve-wracking or you would have been trailed out if you moved your stop up. No, stopped out. If you had moved your stop up here. Because you wouldn't have been profitable. Trailed out. Profitable was trailed out, sorry. Stopped out would have been losing down here. But you would have had your stop up here probably. Or just getting out anywhere up here. So that's the calls. For the puts, there were some signals to go bearish. Inverted hammer, indecision candle, breakdown candles here. So let's see. If you were getting in bearish up here after it made that candle, getting in bearish at 10:15, what could you have done there? So this is the 16.25 put. At the money, it's got some nice lows, right around 12 bucks. That could have worked a couple of times. 12 by 11 goes up to 14, 12 by 11 goes up to 15, 12 by 11 goes up to 15 again. Or you're looking at the 1600 put, which is the one I was talking about. And yeah, still could have been buying like 5 by 4, but it just didn't move very far. This I would have thought, oh, it's going to continue. And then I would have had my stop moved up just to lock in a little bit of something as it stopped me or trailed me out. So I probably would have gotten in 5 by 4 and only gotten out at 550. Would have gotten half an hour, which is still half an hour, but I would have wanted it to get at least up to this high. And I don't know if that's a real wick or not. No, I would have wanted it to get up to 7. And it didn't do that here. It didn't do it here. Even though this was a lower low on Amazon, just not on the option being a higher high, unless that's a real wick, which I doubt it is, because I mean it didn't do anything like that selling off here. That would have been like a dip way down to 1607 or something. I don't know, to do something like that. Probably not 1607. But that would have been the only thing that worked on the 1600 puts, other than buying at the open. Which, if you bought at the open, I mean, that would have been buying. Or you pull back? No, it's still too hard to make something, getting in bearish at the open when it looked like it was gonna maybe hold this double bottom and then immediately sold off. So that would have been really hard to be shorting at the open. Easier to buy here. Easier to buy a continuation bullish after showing some reversal signals in here. And then where are we going? This is a really good fade day, really nice bounce off this level. If this can hold as resistance, we're going to just bump up against it for the next day or two for February. That's what I think. Or if we can get through it, we really could get up to 1665 this week. I think I said that last week, but it just didn't work. I say it last week or the week before? I don't remember. I really wanted to get up to 1665 and start to go bullish, but I'm fine if it holds this upper this resistance line. So we will see if it does that. So still seeing this consolidation, the higher lows in general here, some lower highs in general here. We'll just have to wait and see which way it goes. Could go either way. I'd like to go more bullish sooner and start to see what we can do at this level. The other really cool thing about this whole level, which I haven't really talked about, is this was where we hit some resistance back here. And we held that resistance from March, April, and we're breaking through in like, we even held it in May. Yeah. And then June we were breaking out. So March, April, May. March, April, and May of last year, we were holding this level, this range here as resistance right in here. Can I highlight it? No, it only wants to highlight. Through here, we're holding this range. Let's sketch this. Draw a box in yellow. That's too big. This was our resistance zone for 3 months last year. And we didn't really care about it until now we're back in it. And I'm already drawing this over into March, thinking, I don't know, let's just draw it right there through February. Say, well, what if we continue to consolidate the rest of the month, which is only Wednesday, Thursday, that's fine. And then what if we start to get going bullish? Break out. Why is it doing a box again? A box selected. There we go. Break out, retest, and be off to the races. That would be really cool if it did that. I mean, you could go a little higher, come back, do that, or we just go sideways and chop around and then do some sort of pullback and then bounce. Or we just completely collapse and come back down in here and then bounce. I don't know. I like either of these, where we go up right away, or wait till next month and then do something like that. So I guess we'll have to just wait and see how it's going to work. Hope you enjoyed this video. This starts a whole new year of just an Amazon. This is video 251, and hope you're enjoying it. Thanks for watching. Give me a like, subscription, and come back for another one tomorrow. This is just an Amazon. Thanks.